Aha, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast with the weekly live episode and of course, week after week with my homie. What up, Cricket?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I'm all right. Big Thanksgiving week, man. Turkey Day coming up. You got some exciting stuff going on, man.
Yeah, man, had a busy weekend. Like I was telling you off mic, my kid had an audition. She likes to sing and stuff like that. She's been doing, singing for the last year.
Yeah,
And, so she had a big thing, man. It was huge this weekend, had a big family gathering and still even had time to get down Saturday night and record another podcast with my boy Jim from Cigars and Sports. Make sure
okay.
you check that out.
Yes, sir.
He is full of energy, my friend, and is not shy to let it rip, bro. It's a
Love it.
very original individual.
That's
So
right.
man, hey, get ready for Thanksgiving. I'm driving about 2 hours to meet my family in Fort Myers, which I'm over here in Pembroke Pines, which is over Miami. So hit that and spend the rest of the week there, and man, just do what we do with Thanksgiving: spend family and loved ones, and get about 10 more pounds bigger
Yeah, that's right, man.
and
Enjoy
watch
that.
football.
Enjoy that. That's right.
And
Got to
watch
watch
football.
football, man. Plenty of football to watch for sure. Let's talk about a little bit of it, man.
Yo, listen, we had some games out there. We had some stuff that happened. Look, let's start with the ugliest one of all, which is the Browns and the Pittsburgh, which I don't think nobody was surprised by this shit show over here at 13-10. It was such a bad shit show offensively by Pittsburgh. They fired Matt Canada. Now we have back-to-back weeks where offensive coordinators are getting the hammer and the axe because guess what, man? Their quarterback is not performing.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you what, Matt Canada deserved to be fired way more
Wait.
than Ken Dorsey deserved to
Mhm.
be fired right there. This was an ugly game, man. I took the under in this thing. It was 34.5, the lowest
Yep.
total I've seen in the NFL all year long. I didn't even bat an eye at it, man. Anytime I see that, I'm going under on that thing. I went under, didn't even have to sweat it. I mean, it was an ugly, old school AFC North game. But the Browns come out on top. DTR gets his first career
Yeah.
NFL win. That's big time, man. Good for him.
I mean, there's really not much to hit like stats here. It's a very
Yeah.
defensive game, which
There's
just
not
doesn't
many of
make
them.
it. Yeah, it really doesn't make you talk. It's not sexy, bro. This is one
No,
of
it's
those. This AFC North is not sexy. All right, and
no,
after
sir.
the Bengals going down, and after Joe Bucket's going down for the year, it gets even less sexier. All right, so it's just pretty much Lamar Jackson, and then a bunch of teams with a really good defense, battling it out for the last two playoffs wild card because you got to have a division winner and hopefully probably two wild card winners out of this division. That's how crazy this division is and wild. So yeah, Matt Canada first should have never been hired to begin with. I don't know what the hell Tomlin was thinking with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but yeah, I
That's
mean,
his buddy, man. That's his buddy. That's the
yeah,
only thing I can think of. He wanted to give him a shot. Gave him a
yeah,
shot. Gave him more of a shot than he should have had. He gave him a longer leash he should have had.
but
But
yes,
it was time to move on, man.
yeah, it was definitely time to move on. And really, we're not going to spend a lot more time on this because we have way more interesting things to talk about. And who
Absolutely.
has a lot of time and has made it worth, man? These, Dan Campbell and those Detroit Lions, man. Ugly
Dang.
game. I mean, but they rally and they come back. And they were looking horrible, man, through the first three quarters of this game. And pull the dub, man. And the Lions are 8-2. Lions are
Bro,
fucking 8-2, bro. Best 10 game starts since 1962.
that's nuts. My parents weren't even alive the last time they did this, man.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my gosh, you're right. You're well. My parents were alive. I'm a little old. I'm older than you, but yeah. Still though, 1962 is pretty wild.
that's
Pretty
crazy,
freaking
bro.
wild.
That's crazy. This team never quits though, man. They
No,
battled all the way throughout this thing. I love seeing this out of this team. It was a good show for them.
I mean they scored those 17 points, man. Like in the last like 8 or 9 minutes altogether. I mean they had two touchdowns within 5 minutes in order to pull ahead. That's kind of like the resiliency of this team, man. And I think it's time at 8-2 to they need to be put in the conversation of some legit contenders here. I think at this point, right?
They got to be, man. They got to be. Jared Goff had a very bad first
Oh,
three quarters and
yep.
really kind of showed his backbone, bowed his neck. I love that guy, man. This guy used to be one of my most hated quarterbacks in the league. I would call him a bum and everything. I know y'all have heard me say this. I've had to
Yep.
backpedal on that. Jared Goff may very well be my favorite quarterback in the NFL.
I,
I've said it, man. I don't know anybody that I like better. Maybe CJ Stroud, and he's just
yeah.
starting though. But I love what Jared Goff does, man. He doesn't ever seem to get rattled. He just kind of keeps
No.
the same demeanor. Goes out there. That dude can sling the pill. He's got weapons all around him. They're starting to come into form, man. And they show me they got that attitude that doesn't ever quit, doesn't ever lay down. They're just like their head coach, man. And I love that guy. And I love what this team is doing. They got to be in the conversation.
Yep. And on the other side of the ball, Bears played good. They ran the ball really good. I mean, Justin Fields had 104 yards, which right now Justin Fields is going to play the rest of the year auditioning to not going to be the Bears starter if they keep getting this way because they're probably going to draft a quarterback, but a great, great trade, bait for the Bears because it's going to be somebody that's going to pick this guy up as a starter. I mean, look, it is what it is. We already know what we're going to get from him, and
Yeah.
I think he's going to develop to the point of Lamar and Jalen Hurts. So it is what it is, man. They just he had a great rush. This is what he does right here: 18 carries, 104 yards. That's pretty
I
much.
mean, this is a guy that can give you 250 to 300 yards of offense a game between his legs and his arm. There's still some kinks that obviously need to
Yeah.
be worked out. I don't think he's going to like blossom into this Hall of Fame quarterback or anything, but this is a guy that gives a lot of teams out there that are really struggling. If you put
Mhm.
this guy on the Jets, probably makes them a lot better squad, much more, of a contender right there. You can put this guy, plug him into some offenses,
Mhm.
and he can make some things happen because he's an athletic guy, still a young guy, man. Hasn't had a whole lot of injury trouble. I know he had the thumb thing,
Mhm.
or that's kind of a freak accident. But I think Justin Fields, you're right, man. These are auditions coming up because I don't think he's going to be the guy in Chicago, but I think he'll get a chance to be a starter somewhere else again.
No, I think he'll be around in the league much longer, but not the quarterback that I think last year they thought he was going to emerge to this year. And at the end
No,
of the day, look, man, fantasy football is a lot different than real football.
absolutely.
He's a good fantasy football quarterback.
Oh, for sure. For
That's
sure.
in my
One
book.
of the
That's what I. Yeah.
If he gives you that stat line like he did last
Mhm.
weekend, he gets over 100 yards rushing, throws for a buck 50 plus. Like, I mean, that's a good stat line from that guy. You're going to get good fantasy points out of that cat. But fantasy football champions don't translate into NFL champions.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Two big different things. Now, talking about I think this team is legitimately not contending as much as I hate to say it. It's the Dallas Cowboys, all right? Even though it was a complete blowout, they're supposed to blow out the Panthers. One thing that really caught my eye, right? This team right here, and I hate to give this team credit, but dude, CeeDee Lamb has 6 touchdowns, but Darren Bland has 4 touchdowns himself. All right.
It's
He
crazy.
is he is
Mhm.
tied the NFL record for the most pick six in a season. All right. We had his 4th on Sunday. How wild is that, bro? All right. Their best receiver has 6 touchdowns. This guy, their corner has 4 with
Can you,
that's nuts. They lost
but
Trevon Diggs, and you think, you know what? That's a big guy. That's a big in the locker room. Dude, that secondary did not skip a beat, man, especially with this guy putting fucking record breaking
man,
numbers and time numbers right here.
you took the words right out of my mouth. Can you imagine if Trayvon Diggs had not
Yeah.
got hurt? I know there's a lot of ifs in that sentence, but
Mhm.
this guy out here playing at a whole nother level, man. It's a record that stood for 30 years. I think it was
That's
93,
wild.
93 or 94 the last time somebody had 4 pick sixes. This guy still
Mhm.
got 7, 8 games left, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And look, the way that this defense plays, and how they force quarterbacks to turn the ball over. Don't be surprised if he ends up with he's going to break this in within the next couple 4 weeks or so, maybe even 2 more. I mean,
I mean, he might break it this weekend against the
yep,
Commanders, man. They've
that's
been
right.
known to make some mistakes in spots. But yeah, I mean, he's got plenty of time to break it. And the way the Cowboys play on offense,
Mhm.
the style of play you have to play to beat them, you got to throw the ball, man. You got to chuck that pill to beat the Cowboys. And it's going to give this guy plenty of opportunities. I think he's going to get it, man. I hope he does.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the Commanders. Those bastards did not play well this week. All right,
No,
against my
no, they
Giants.
didn't. They
All
did
right, all right.
not, sir.
And yes, the way freaking Hal fucking threw the ball to my team, pick six to kind of seal the game here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very highly that Mr. Howell is going to have another kind of performance that he's going to throw 3 more picks or 2 more picks. Because man, I love Sam Howell, right? Because he's leading the league in receiving yard. I mean, in passing yards, all this shit. But then he has games like this because this is not the first 3 interception game this guy has had this season, man. He goes from like being a quarterback that you said this dude's going to get paid. Oh, this dude's going to be a
Yeah.
cornerstone. This is going to be a franchise. This kind of shit against the Giants. My fucking Giants can't even tack right, by the way.
Yeah, this is this is a bad deal for you, man. I've never seen a fan of their team like Heavy Steps called this one. Got to give him a shout out, man. He was all over the
Yeah, he
Giants
did.
last weekend, and
I was
he,
there
he
last week.
drilled that thing right in the mouth. Man, I wish I'd have sprinkled a little bit on that money line, but I didn't think the Commanders would cover that line, but I didn't think they would come out and just shit the bed and lay an egg
No.
like they did, man.
I thought they were going to win, but not cover that line either. But shit, man, they did both. It was horrible, and they gave up 31 points. I mean, take a look at this. But first, let me go. Let's go to the comments. My boy Jim, my co-host from Cigars and Sports. This is great. What I hear. Panthers O line will be featured on the 48 Hours for Murder of Bryce Young. That's true. That damn O line, bro. They cannot hold water in a fucking
Man.
cup, dude.
They
And
are bad. They're gonna get that boy broke.
yep, and this is true. Danny DeVito out there slinging chicken cutlets to everyone. What a chooch bag. Hey man, New Jersey is New Jersey does. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, look, I want Danny DeVito to start the rest of the year, man. But shit, man, I don't need him to be doing these, putting
I
these
was
kind of
gonna
numbers.
say, look at what he did, man. That boy came out to play.
He threw 3 freaking touchdowns, man. All right, 1 to Slayton. All right, 1 to Saquon Barkley. And I guess they know when they have a worse secondary than theirs that they could go ahead and kind of throw downfield. But I think he has like 5 passing touchdowns the last 2 games because he threw for 2 the other game, and that's shellacking
He
the
did. He got
Cowboys
that
just
one.
gave us.
He got that one the last second that screwed
Yeah,
Eric out of. He had Rico Dowdle's last
yeah.
touchdown score, and Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito threw the touchdown pass with like 5 seconds left or something to beat him. Man, that was a
Bro,
bad
this
beat.
guy has put 2 games with touchdowns that neither Daniel Jones or effing in a 2-game span that neither Daniel Jones did or Tyrod Taylor. Because I don't think none of them had 5 touchdowns in a span of 2 games.
This guy's going to be just good enough to keep y'all to like the 4th or 5th pick, where the
Bro,
top 2
man.
dogs are going to be gone. He's
I
going
don't
to be
need
just
that,
good
man.
enough.
We need a top 3 pick, bro. We need one of those quarterbacks.
You
all
need
right?
a top 2, man. You need
yeah,
a
top 2.
2.
Because I think, Caleb and what, Bo Nix maybe? Or who's the other guy? Phoenix?
Drake May, man. You want?
Drake May,
I would
yeah.
take Drake May. If I had the
Yeah.
number 1 pick, I'd take Drake May. Everybody's going to tell you Caleb Williams. I don't like what I've seen out of that guy's attitude
Yeah,
this season.
that's true.
For the whole length of it, man. That guy doesn't show me that he's going to lead his troops, especially in the face of adversity. I'll take Drake May over Caleb Williams any day.
I agree with you. I don't think we need to go from a quarterback that still lives at home to a quarterback that has to cry on his mom's shoulders after the fucking game is over on national television. You're right about that, bro. I don't think I want that as a Giants fan.
I ain't seen nothing out of that. I mean, hey, maybe he'll wind up being one of the best ever, but right now, what I've seen out of him tells me that you do not want to put that guy on a bad team because that attitude is going to be a poison.
I'm telling you, man. We fucking Giants can even tank right. It's unreal, unreal. You know who's not a poison, bro? You know who's not a poison, and he was clicking on all cylinders with his boy Tank Dell again. Is that dude, man? That dude, CJ Stroud, bro. Another tough game, 21-16. Bro, this team is 6-4, bro. Okay, they are like at the heels of the Jags, which they faced this week. Huge game, brother. All right, and CJ Stroud. Hold on a second. Let me put this back up here. Sorry. The Texans. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, they're on the heels. They're chomping at the heels of the Jags right now. CJ Stroud, had 3 picks, which is unlikely, but still threw for 336 yards, and it was a really good game. Singletary has had his best 2-game span of his career, back-to-back 100-yard rushing games, another touchdown. Tank Dell, man, he's legit, courtesy of the Browns.
Bro, CJ Stroud, I'm sorry, but I'm not listening to anybody telling me that CJ Stroud doesn't deserve the MVP more than anybody else. Yeah. That dude is a beast, bro. He's throwing for 2,962 yards. He's got his completion percentage is hurting him, but that's because the dude's slinging it 45 times a game.
Yep.
But he's throwing for 296 a game, 17 TDs, only 5 picks, 3 of which came last weekend, which is very uncharacteristic. He probably won't throw 5 picks the rest of the way. This guy is playing as good a football as anybody right now and is more valuable to his team than anybody. The Texans, without him, may not even have a win on the season right now. I'll say that. Without that guy right there, they may not have a win because we wouldn't know all these other receivers that are catching these passes that are now fantasy monsters, that treasure trove down there. Dalton Schultz has had a resurgence. Dude. He's probably the happiest guy to get out of Dallas. He loves where he's landed, man. They look good, bro. And CJ Stroud's playing as good a football as anybody.
He is, man. He is. I mean, it's like they lose Pierce. All of a sudden, Singletary is taking over. Like you said, the treasure trove, man. Nico 7 for 65, 149 for Tank Dell, who's been on a tear lately and has become his favorite target right here. So look, 6-4, big game against the Jags. Shit's real, man. Shit's getting real right now. That division thought it was going to be for the Jags to lose, and I don't know about that anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, this Texans team has already gone to Jacksonville and thumped the Jags.
Right.
They beat them 37-20 in that matchup earlier in the year, man. Right before the Jags went over to London and got their rejuvenation that they got early in the season because they were playing bad football, and the Texans smacked them in the mouth at home. Now they got to go to Houston, but I think I like the Jags in this one, man. I think I like the Jags in a bounce-back spot.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna jump to the Jags after I check out the comments here. Yeah, Jim. We spoke about your boy Matty Canada right at the beginning
Yeah.
because the Browns, the shit show of the Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers were the first show up. But yeah, they finally fire that donkey, that double donkey from Shrek, Matt Canada. The heavens thought it was a late good cleaning a window at the nut house, bitch. It's like, and it's funny. He mentioned I had my name from E. Atcho. I don't know how the hell that happened because we clowned on Emmanuel Atcho this weekend because of his bad take on Deshaun Watson last week. And thanks a lot, man. I changed my name back to E-Man, which it's I didn't know how the fuck that happened. But yeah, dude. I mean, look, right now the Texans are for real. And now that you mentioned the Jaguars, right? Why is every week, man, I throw shade or we throw shade at somebody, that fucking quarterback or that player comes back
Yeah.
like a man fucking possessed. It is wild. I mean,
You might want to start betting the overs on the guy that we throw shade at.
yeah, dude. I mean, dude. I mean, look at freaking Trevor Lawrence this week. I mean, he had probably the best game of the season. He had the best game of his entire season for himself. They annihilated the Jacksonville Jags. I mean, this dude went 24 for 32, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran another 2 touchdowns. He had a hell of a game. I mean, this is the Trevor Lawrence that everybody expected from the get-go this season. And remember, we mentioned it. When did we start pointing the finger at him? I guess he must have listened to us, man, because he came out like a man freaking possessed.
He must tune into the show, man. He must have heard because, man, this was a bad beat for me in this game. I had the under 39.5. It was 13-0 at halftime, and they scored like crazy in the second half.
Yeah. He just got wild. He just went crazy that second half, dude. I mean, they scored 21 points in the second half. It was just insane. I mean, and that's when he started like moving the football. I mean, again, I still don't see that same Trevor. I mean, this is just Tennessee is not a great team. But however, they put up the points that they needed to put practically on a team that's bad. So
yeah, and Tennessee is so bad. They're such like a Jekyll and Hyde team when it comes to playing on the road or playing at home. And it's like all in their schematics too, their game plan. They'll run Derrick Henry 20 plus times at home and he'll have 120 yards and a couple touchdowns or whatever. And they'll salt the game away. They'll control the tempo, establish a line of scrimmage. When they get on the road, they completely abandon that. And they try to this whole other thing that I don't know. He gets like 10 or 11 carries. How many do you have?
That's it, 10 carries.
Yeah, 10 carries. Like that, there's no excuse for that, man.
No.
With the offensive coordinator should be fired for the Titans before he leaves the stadium if Derrick Henry doesn't get 20 carries or 20 touches, 20 plus touches in a game.
It has not been the first time all year. We've seen this stat line by Henry: 10, 11 carries, 38 yards, 40 yards this season. The 2 garbage ass touchdown mayonnaise boy over here, Hellman's guy, freaking threw with like garbage time, touchdowns. For fantasy value, DeAndre Hopkins ended up, kind of like resurrecting a garbage time touchdown there from a flea flicker or whatever the hell it was. So it's just that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's how they scored. That's one of the touchdowns right there that helped get them over.
Yeah, that hefty right there.
What you got to do. It's like, come on, man. It was like from a wildcat too. Like they snapped to Derrick Henry, and then that's what you got to do to score. I don't even know if I'd want to embarrass myself and have to score that way. I believe I'd just take the shutout and be like, hell, we need to fire everybody.
That's true. That is absolutely true, man. I don't know why, but hey, look, Trevor Lawrence. With that being said, you know what's coming, bro. He is my goat of the week. From bashing him to my goat of the week based on that performance this dude had this week.
Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. Don't cross that line. Go.
I mean, look, man. Trevor Sunshine Lawrence right here, my boy from Remember the Titans. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, 262 yards, a blowout win by the Titans. This is kind of what we expect out of him all year long. We should be seeing him get hot, hopefully. And this is probably that Trevor Lawrence and Jackson. With the Jags team has been playing solid, right? Great defense, really good defense. They're running the ball tremendously. ETN is having an unbelievable season. If this starts happening, and I'm not looking for 4 touchdowns with Trevor Lawrence every week, but I'm looking, that amount of passing yards, that completion percentage, and I'm looking for at least 2 passing touchdowns per game because that's what he's capable for. So,
yeah, I agree with you, man. Good to see it out of him too. Good to see it.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's good. Good to see that out of him. So, shout out to Trevor Lawrence. He goes from the odd house to the goat house. And I'm not gonna touch that Dolphins game. Just the only highlight I like about that is the Jalen Ramsey called game and got himself an interception last week. Yeah, 2. That's right. Yeah, 2, and the one was right there at the end.
Sick, bro. They were both of them were sick. They were like diving. That dude's a freak, man. He
still could play, huh?
Yeah,
He's
he
had
could play.
injuries and he still could play, man.
He's a savage, bro. When that dude's healthy and playing on that level, he's the best DB in the league.
Yep. I mean, now cricket. I'm the only reason I'm touching the next game, right? It's because you've set this over and over again, even from the beginning of the season, right? And because it's two teams that you're like, they kind of underachieve, but one more than other. And the Chargers losing to the way they lost to the Packers. What do you usually say year after year about that head coach? That
I can't stand that guy, man.
you've
I
been
cannot stand that guy.
you've been saying all year that it's time to fire this guy. They should be the first head coach fired.
And I will give him a little shout out because he did that press conference the other day, and he did take some accountability. And I'm all about head coaches taking accountability because ultimately it's your fault. I don't want to hear about your coordinators or your players in that. It's ultimately it's your fault. It's your locker room. I did see him take a little bit of accountability, and I did like that. But this guy's got to go, man. This guy's got to go. When they're not doing nobody's doing anybody any favors.
No,
it's
no,
not
no.
just the defense; it's the offense too. It's both
Yep.
sides of the ball. Justin Herbert's missing some throws.
Mhm.
When he's hitting the throws, guys are dropping them.
Now,
But the
Keenan Allen,
defense, Keenan
that
Allen,
was you can't do that. Not at the end zone like that. That was on its fucking pad.
and Quentin Johnston too.
Yes.
At the end,
Yes.
man, that one hit him. I mean, Herbert dropped them two right in the bucket. He's missed a few of those this year. He has. Maybe that's something to do with that, middle finger injury on the opposite hand where he got stepped on, got it broke earlier in the year in Vegas. But he still hasn't looked all that polished. But the defense isn't playing great either. And this guy's supposed to be a defensive-minded head coach. And going into Green Bay and losing that game, I can almost bear with that. But some of the other games I've seen, the way they've lost those games, and I thought this guy's made some poor decisions, just head coaching decision spots, going for it on fourth down and spots, misusing timeouts. Things like that are what I noticed. And the lack of discipline on this team, I think all that boils back down to who your head coach is and how they're controlling that locker room. I don't think he is, and I think he's got to go, man. Good coordinator, bad head coach.
I mean, right now, you're wasting all these numbers. Look, career-wise, he has Justin Herbert has 113 touchdowns. All right, that's 5 seasons. Well, 4 seasons, right? 4 seasons. He's on his 4th season.
Yep.
All right, 40 interceptions. He's having another really good year. 19 touchdowns, which is going to surpass what he did last year. Only 5 picks. It's like you can't get this kid over the hump right now. And I don't know. I mean, he has the talent. He is one of those generational talents, but it's not panning out, man. And I don't know. I mean, Kellen Moore he knows what he's doing. I don't think Kellen Moore is the answer head coach either. I mean, if you want to salvage this kid's career, because he's just gonna keep doing, Philip Rivers crap 2.0.
I have just started.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I think here, and it's a shame because they're wasting good years, talented years, peak years for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't think it's all Herbert. Like I said, I think it's a lot to do with the head coach right here. I think you get this guy with the right coach, and Kellen Moore may be it, man. He's eventually going to get his shot to be a head coach in the NFL. I don't know how soon it's going to come, but that guy's eventually going to be a head coach in the NFL for somebody, and maybe LA is a good spot for him. I also think that Harbaugh might be looking at LA. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. I think after all this stuff this year, especially if they were to find a way to win that national championship, I don't think they will. But if they win that national championship, Harbaugh is going to be gone. I said at the beginning of the year, he's gone either way. And I think he might be headed to L.A. And him with Herbert, that could be a pretty potent combination.
I want to see that. I think Harbaugh. Yeah, I think Harbaugh has done his thing already in college. It is what it is.
Yeah, he wants that national championship, but especially after all the different scandal and stuff that's been going on up there, I think it's probably better for him. He could go. It's crazy to say, but he could go to L.A. and be a Chargers coach and get out of the limelight a little bit.
Oh man, hey, Jim is on fire tonight. Brad Staley and Joe Biden are related because both are dumb and blind. At least Staley can walk down steps. You're right. Definitely, they both miss a lot of obvious shit, Jim. They do. But look, you're right. You're wasting some talent here, and I think Harbaugh might benefit. I mean, he's been there before, and he's gonna get. Overall, that offense is not broken. I mean, yeah, you got Keenan Allen's probably on his way out, right? But you got players like Quentin Johnson. You're going to have a good market in free agency that you should be able to obviously kind of tap from, But I mean, it is time. I think it is time, and changes to be done, or you're just going to have a overpaid quarterback just not getting you to the playoffs or just giving you average seasons, not by statistical numbers, but from the standpoint of winning in the winning column. So.
Yeah, I agree, man. The 49ers, they are looking sorry, I was looking at my phone there. I got
No,
a
you're
text.
good.
I zoned out for a second, my bad.
You're good, man. Hey, your 49ers, man. The 49ers, your team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, gave it their all. We knew they were not going to.
Yeah, man, I expected they actually got me
Yeah.
by a half point in this thing. I had the 49ers minus 13.5 right here. So it's worst case scenario. My Bucks lose and I get beat by the half point. But I didn't expect this. We don't traditionally play well in San Francisco anyway. It's a really good San Francisco team with a great defense. You got a quarterback out there that can do the damn thing. Defense hadn't been playing as great of late. We got to get rid of Todd Bowles too. That's another guy that's got to fucking go.
Yeah.
But another one that's a great coordinator,
Yep,
bad
yep.
head coach. Can't handle the pressures of a head coach. And Baker's doing Baker. They're giving this team is getting the most out of what they've got. I didn't expect it to be. I really didn't expect 4 wins coming into this season. So the fact we're already there, probably find a way to win a couple more. And as bad as our division is, you still got life.
That's what I'm saying. You still got to be in contention, man, all the way to like week 15, depending on your record. And just they have to be a over 500 record. I mean, that's just the obvious, the obviousness of this division. That's how bad the division is. And like you said, Purdy, bro, let's forget. Every quarterback goes through streaks. Every quarterback goes through goods and bad. He's now back on a jump. In the last 2 weeks, this guy's been on fire slinging this pill. All right. San Francisco's looking great again. The Chase Young addition has been awesome, right? They did lose a huge part of their secondary. What's the guy's name? Dude, I can't think of him right now. They lost him for the year. They lost
Hufanga.
Yeah, Hufanga. Hufanga's a big piece of that on defense. But again, I think they have enough up front that they will be able to disrupt pretty much any quarterback. And the quarterback that needs to be watching out and they have their eyes on the most is Jalen, because they're gonna be it's a head-on collision to the NFC North between these two teams, all right, between the Eagles and the Niners.
Yeah.
So we would go ahead and then we'll touch, and we got to hit on the Eagles because they played a hell of a game last night.
Man, they did.
They did a hell of a game last night.
They did. I was on the Chiefs, man. I couldn't bet against Patrick Mahomes as a 3-point or less favorite. 3-point or less favorite. He is now 27 and 1. So I mean, I couldn't bet against that, and they should have won the game.
Yep, they did.
You got to catch that ball. Travis Kelce got to hold on to it down there in the red zone, fumbling. I mean, the Chiefs beat themselves more than the Eagles beat them. The Eagles did not play great, but they continue to find ways to win big games that are ugly. It doesn't have to be pretty. You don't have to have a crazy stat line. It was nasty weather, pouring down rain, all that stuff. Wasn't too windy, but still nasty weather. And the Eagles rose to the occasion. The Chiefs did not.
They did. And look, even that 4-25 play, he hit Watson on the hands, dude. All right.
He did. He threw 2 good balls right there at the end that gave them a shot to go down and win that game. Now, if you score on that one with MVS, the Eagles still got a minute 45 left or whatever.
Yep.
We don't know what Jalen Hurts is going to do, but Patrick Mahomes put the ball where it's supposed to go, right in the bucket, man. And these receivers have the most drop passes. They have 29 drop passes this year, the most in the NFL. And the Chiefs have gone 3 straight games without scoring in the second half.
They are the lowest.
If you'd have told me that at the beginning of the year, I would have never, ever believed you. I would have bet on that for whatever you wanted me to. And I mean, yeah, exactly. The worst in the league, man.
They
the Panthers, the Bears, the Cardinals, all those teams got more points in the second half than the Chiefs. Who saw that coming?
Yep. They flipped the script from last year.
Yeah, the defense is good, but not great, not next level, not good enough to overcome stuff like that. You got to be able to put points in the second half. They got to figure something out offensively and find somebody in the receiver position that can take over a game. They don't have it right now.
Who would have thought that not having Juju Smith-Schuster was going to make a difference?
It's huge, man. Now, granted, that guy, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know that he would have been healthy enough to play full. So you might have, but you'd have got him for 7-8 games, something like that.
I mean, again, dude, it's crazy. Everything has now panned out well from them. The Kadarius Toney trade was complete disaster. So far, Waller is not playing either for us, so it doesn't matter. But regardless, for them, it's a bigger investment for them than us. So it's bad. It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, they have nobody there.
Rashee Rice looks like he's starting to kind of come into his own.
Yeah, but he's not a number one
on the offense. But he's not. Yeah, he's not a number one. He's no Tyreek Hill.
He's a guy. No. He's a guy that, listen, if you have a number one and you draft this kid, oh my gosh, he's going to benefit from having a good number one, right? He could be a number 2, a 2B. He could be a 2 or a 2B without a problem. A good offense.
and give him a few years, let him grow up in the league a little bit. And you're right. If he was a number 2 somewhere, he would be a weapon to have. Like if he was playing on the Eagles next to A.J. Brown, like Devontae Smith is, I mean, this guy would really be doing the damn thing. But when you make him the number 1, the young guy, you got to learn the game, got to deal with all the adversity and stuff. He's not that guy yet.
No, not yet. Not yet at all. Not yet at all. So, well, that was going to be the last game we were going to touch, but there's still one more, right? And the only reason why I'm bringing this next game is this next team at all and this next game, because it was a complete atrocious issue here. It's because this next individual here is my loser of the week. And before I go in there, let me just go ahead and play the clip, because I'm going to tell you exactly who my loser of the week. We're not really going to break down the game because it was a complete horrible game, and we knew this was bound to happen. It just took too long. But first, here's
Le who, the her.
The loser of the week, my friend, is none other than Zach Wilson. Finally, they benched this guy. All right, he goes from, and there's a couple of things I'm gonna point out here. Right, he goes from being the number 1 quarterback, right, to now the 3rd string quarterback. All right, that's how bad it goes. And here's the problem that I have. I like Robert Saleh, but Robert Saleh is not a head coach in this league. Robert Saleh is another guy that's a great coordinator in my book. All right, but I'm gonna tell you, he's been flip-flopping all year long, saying how much he supports Zach Wilson. All that kind of, he's saying what he was supposed to do. I know you got to support your players and move them on, but he never held this kid accountable and always defended and gave him excuses why he was playing such a shitty fucking game. That guy, Zach, is not it. He's not an NFL starting quarterback. He's a backup quarterback in my book and a complete bust at number 2. And a head coach, part of being a head coach is taking responsibility and take accountability for your players and say the right things. Robert Saleh, as much as I like, he's like a Dan Campbell, man. Players are going to go through him, but he is not a good head coach because he's not holding. Now, all of a sudden, he's like, shit, I got to do something. No, dude, you should have done something a long time ago, or at least, hold this guy accountable, because he wasn't doing anything. Zach Wilson is on the verge of being a backup quarterback for the rest of his career.
If he's lucky.
Yep.
I mean, if he's lucky. And I hate it because I love Robert Saleh, man. I do. I love that guy. I've really been pulling for him since he got the job up there in New York. But I'm afraid you might be right, my friend. I don't know that this guy is a head coach in the league. And you're right. This league should have been way shorter than this because, I mean, like you said, you don't go from being the starter to the 3rd string, to the practice squad. You don't do that, man. That's not, that tells me right there that somebody from up top was like, hey, you gotta be done with this. Appreciate you having you guys back, but your guy ain't doing nothing for anybody to have his back right now. And this is a total, they dropped the ball. This whole franchise dropped the ball on this whole deal, man. Drafting this guy at number 2 should have never happened.
I mean, we got so many pieces of shit in New York, dude. It's not even funny right now. A quarterback, all right? It's like, it doesn't matter. And this comment here by Tim pretty much kind of says it all when it comes to New York football. It's like we have Boyle as a starter, Seaman as our number 2, and Wilson. That's 3. Do the math. The 3 pieces of shit in New Jersey that smells like shit. If you think about it, right, Tommy DeVito is better, has had 2 better games than Zach Wilson had in the span of his career, right? He's had a career of 20. He has 21 touchdowns and 21 interceptions in the whatever 12 games, 18 games he's played in his career. That's how bad it is. So it's true. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad right now that's what we're dealing with in New York. So here we go. We got another. Let me go here. Let me play this one from Jim. Breaking. Taylor Swift is in tears after the loss. Says that Travis Pooh deserves better than Kermit the Frog as a quarterback. Songs about him to speak next week. I think I should got to write a song about him. We knew that's going to happen eventually one time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to share something with you. I posted this video on my YouTube channel, and I literally, the captions were Zach Wilson is taking Robert Saleh with him down this season. Let me go ahead and let me see if I could share this on my YouTube. I think I got the short available here. Wait a minute. Let me share it first.
I think he is going down with him, man.
Yeah, practically. Here we go. Here.
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say
Say
what?
what?
Say what? Say
That player right there is the epitome of the year for the Zach Wilson and the Jets. He's been backing him up over and over again. That's Robert Saleh, and just at that tackle, dude, they both went down. So I think this year there's going to be a problem. I think there's going to be a new head coach, all right, in the Jets. So maybe next season, if Aaron Rodgers is starting quarterback, there might be a change. It might be. I think they told him, stop defending this kid. It is time to bench.
Yeah, there very well might be. I don't know. Maybe they'll give him a shot with Aaron Rodgers.
They will.
I don't know. He hadn't had a shot with a real quarterback yet, and I don't hate seeing the head coach back his guys. I don't see him, because if he doesn't believe in him, why should anybody else? So I can't hate him for that, but he does have some things to figure out, and if he gets another shot at this thing, he's got to do it much differently.
I really would not like to see Nathaniel Hackett as a head coach next season.
No, you would not. Ask Denver.
That is true. That is absolutely true, my friend. Oh man, listen, we got to keep it short this week. Again, we got to get ready for for Thanksgiving. We kind of breezed through this real quick. There's not as many games. What are we looking for, man? Next week what do we got on Thursday night?
Thursday we got the Packers and the Lions, the early game. Then we got the Cowboys and the Commanders, and then Thursday night we have San Francisco and Seattle. And then Friday, Black Friday game, we got these Jets against the Dolphins.
Oh, what a shit show in New Jersey, right? I think it's going to be at New Jersey, so that's going to happen. Yep.
They're trying to make the Jets the Black Friday team. You know how they have the Lions and Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving. They're trying to make this a new thing, and they want the Jets to be that team. But you got to get a little better for anybody who wants to watch you, man.
I got you. And then before I leave, of course, my power ranking. I'm going to breeze through this real quick. Eagles are number 1. I think that's undisputed. All right. I'm moving up these Lions up to number 2. All right. Because these Lions, man, they've been scrapping. Ravens are number 3, which I think that's where I had them last week. I'm jumping up the 49ers because they are definitely back in my book. Dolphins are staying at number 5, moving the Jags back up a little bit at number 6. I'm dropping down the Chiefs, man, because they just, they played a really good team. And again, they haven't shown you that they're going to be as dominant in the playoffs as they were last season. Dallas Cowgirls are back in. Browns are number 9, of course. And yes, my Cinderella of the year, I got to give them some love. Maybe if it's just once or twice. At number 10, the Houston Texans. All right. To kind of break in that top 10. So
I like it, man. I like it. I might flip-flop the Cowboys and the Dolphins.
You can. That is absolutely acceptable. You could definitely flip-flop the Dolphins and the Cowboys. So.
But I like the rest of it, man. I do.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to the Bench podcast. He's one of our loyal listeners and always jumping on. Let me see here. One more. Yep. Finns ahead of the Chiefs, even though they lost to them. Yeah, I could do that. I could absolutely do that. But right now, the Chiefs are leaving a bad taste in a lot of people, a lot of people's mouth this year. You know what I mean? And even from a standpoint of betting as well. So
I might put the Cowboys and Jaguars in front of both of those teams.
I think you can too, Ben. I think you absolutely can. Absolutely can. Well, everybody, that's all we got this week. Cricket, tell them where they could find you.
Hey, for the best value in sports handicapping, come check us out at sportspicks.locals.com. We got a big promo going on through the end of the month. Through November 30th, you can get 40% off your annual subscription. Just use the promo code Thanksgiving. We got the great Robert Barnes making his official picks. He is now 8-0 on his big 5% plays this year. Cashed another one last weekend in college football. But come check us out, man. sportspicks.locals.com, where we turn the odds in your favor.
All right, everybody, that's all we got. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Cricket, and your family, brother. Hope you wishful and you're thankful and get everything you deserve, my friend. Again, it's Thanksgiving. It's a time to spend it with family or friends or both. And just be grateful for what you have, as much or as little. Anything is good to be grateful for, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Likewise to you, my friend. I hope you have a great time. Be safe on your traveling and all that, but enjoy that time with the family, folks. That's what it's all about.
That's right, baby. We'll do. It's your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast. Signing out. See you.
See you next Tuesday.
Peace.